Hello and welcome to Kankakee Podcast, where we talk about the people and the places of Kankakee County. I'm Drew Razor, and today we are joined by Duane Brumitt. How you doing? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Heck yeah, all right, I'm getting it. How you doing today?
Well, I'm doing outstanding, but I'm improving.
Good. Amen to that. Absolutely. So, one of the biggest things that you do in this community is you are a martial arts teacher, correct? A co-founder of a company, yes?
Yes, sir.
So, tell me how that company came to be, how you got your start, and just who you are in general.
Well, I started martial arts 1 month before my 18th birthday. So I just graduated in 1991. I graduated at age 17, and I didn't turn 18 until that September. So it was August of that month, and I was a lifeguard out at Buckingham. I see these two little kids doing karate in the pool. They looked like they were twins. Come to find out they weren't. Anyways, I blew my whistle at them, said, hey, no karate in the pool. So they start swimming away. So, of course, the type of person I am, I blew my whistle at them again. I said, hey, no swimming in the pool either. So there was a little banter back and forth. On my break, I got to meet their mom, sweet lady. And we obviously talked about martial arts because I had blew the whistle at her kids.
Yeah.
She proceeded to tell me that not only were her kids in martial arts, but herself was in martial arts here in town. And she goes, you should come in and try it. I always had wanted to do martial arts. In fact, I think, most boys, we pretend like we knew something even though we didn't. And I definitely did that. In retrospect, looking back, I am the oldest out of 3 boys. And the next one is 5 years younger. The other one is 8 years younger. So I babysat them a lot. And my parents would go out sometimes on Friday nights. And this was back in the day that you could order a pizza and actually open up the door, with your parents not being there.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we would turn off all the lights in the house and we would play ninja.
Oh,
and
that's fun.
Both of them would try to beat me up.
Right.
And then, of course, I would subdue them. Primarily because I was older, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
So
the older brother
yes.
beat up, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a blast. So I think every little boy pretends like they're a ninja or a karate person or something.
Right.
So my love for that started back then. I'm born in the 70s. You watch the Kung Fu movies and all those things. And so, of course, you and then Bruce Lee, to watch some of those things and think, wow, you can actually do those.
Right.
Obviously, some of them you cannot do.
Right,
But at the time, as a kid, you see those and you think, you believe everything you see, which that kind of will lead me into something maybe we can talk about a little bit later with kids, because we're primarily a kids' school.
Yeah.
But anyways, went to that studio, was there for 6.5 years. Before I left, got a pretty decent foundation in the Korean style of Tang Soo Do.
Gotcha.
And then left that organization with no intention really of starting TriStar here. Met another gentleman. His name is Jerry Wiles. He has what now is the International Christian Martial Arts Association, but prior to that, it was just the Christian Martial Arts Association.
Gotcha. Cool.
And trained with him. Really liked what he stood for, really liked what he was doing. And so then was thinking, actually, I'm going to move down to Florida.
Yeah.
And that obviously did not happen.
Yeah.
There was a core of us, probably about 8 or 9 of us that were training together after we had left that studio. And just what had come up was, why don't we go ahead and start something up here? So through a lot of talk, a lot of prayer, we decided to go ahead and start TriStar. There was 4 adults basically that started it. And, from there, I think it was maybe 2.5, 3 years into starting TriStar. I bought my partners out and now I own it solely.
Wow. That's very cool. And then just more for the listeners. So since you're an instructor, you also are belted in karate as well, correct? Is that the right term? Belted, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah. So the rank comes from the International Christian Martial Arts Association now.
Yeah.
So yes, the quick answer is yes.
Cool.
But
Sweet.
I have people that ask me, so what style do you teach? That's the harder question.
I was going to ask about that as well, is because it's a very specific style that you do teach. What what's different about your style versus the others, so to say?
Well, martial arts is martial arts. A kick's a kick, a punch's a punch.
Fair enough, yeah.
So it kind of depends on everybody's interpretation of how they want to throw the kick or the punch. Mm-hmm. What I found out was that the traditional style of Tang Soo Do, even though I like it,
yeah,
it has its holes. So if you get taken down to the ground, that traditional style of Tang Soo Do does not fill that gap.
Oh, okay.
If you have a knife or a gun or what we call an impact weapon, so that could be a tire iron, a stick, or whatever, baseball bat, the traditional style of Tang Soo Do really does not cover that area. And also, I would say, a good stand-up, because, point sparring is one thing, but being able to box or kickbox, that's a whole different thing.
Right.
So what we've done with our program is, yes, we still teach the traditional style of Tang Soo Do, but where it has its holes, I've gone to other arts to fill those holes.
Oh, that's cool.
So our program basically has four arts in it, if you will. So the first is Tang Soo Do. The second is kickboxing for the stand-up. The third is jiu-jitsu for the ground. And then the fourth is an Israeli fighting system called Haganah. Most people have not heard of that, but they've heard of Krav Maga. So if you think, and you maybe have never heard of Tang Soo Do, but you probably have heard of Taekwondo.
Yes.
That's more popular.
Gotcha.
And there's reasons why that's more popular. But without getting into the history, Tang Soo Do and Taekwondo, you could just say they're like brother-sister arts. Mm-hmm. Well, Haganah and Krav Maga, you could say they're kind of like brother and sister arts. That's a generic way of explaining it.
No, that makes sense, though. Yeah.
That would offend some martial artists.
Gotcha.
But in a generic term.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So there's four arts that we've encompassed because I want my students to have a well-rounded training. I don't want them to have holes in their training. Now, does that mean that they would, in a kickboxing match, be able to go up and beat someone that is just strictly
solely in kickboxing? Right?
No, but that's not why we're doing it.
Yeah, right.
Does that make sense?
Total sense. I think you're kind of saying like having a well-rounded student in all of those things rather than a master of just one of them is your style, so to say?
Well, the likelihood of them being attacked by someone who does kickboxing
is right.
Or someone that just does jiu-jitsu, the likelihood of that happening is not as big.
Right.
So I want to teach on the statistical things. Do we go off into tangents sometimes? Yes. But if they have their core in the statistical things, they're going to be good and solid in those things. And they can have confidence that they are going to be able to protect themselves.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Total sense. So is your goal a lot of the times to make sure that these kids can defend themselves in situations, or is it also, or do you focus more on just the craft and then the defense aspect is just a plus?
Quite honestly, the martial arts aspect, the physical martial arts aspect is the easiest part to teach. I always tell parents that your kids are going to have to defend themselves mentally, emotionally, socially, well more than they're going to have to defend themselves physically. Yeah. So I really want our students to be able to defend themselves in all of those areas.
Yeah. That's great. That's awesome. So speaking of students, what age range do you teach?
Well, we start them at 3.
Okay.
And then, of course, on up. But the majority of our students are kids.
Okay, cool.
Partly because that's what I like.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Not that I don't like teaching adults. That's not it at all. But I really get a kick out of teaching kids. And so I would say, probably at least 93 to 95% of our student base are kids.
That's awesome.
The most of the adults that are in our program, their kid is in the program.
Nice.
I do have a few adults that have no kids in the program at all. They just wanted to be a part of our program.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Few and far between.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Is it... So when you have like a student who has a parent in the program, do they work together in the same class, or is it all separated by age and by different aspects of martial arts?
It would depend on the age of the child.
Okay.
So we have a 3 and 4-year-old program. We need to, because 3 and 4-year-olds have their own special needs as that age group.
Yeah.
We have a 5 and 6-year-old program. that's the same, meaning that they really need their own age group because we do age-appropriate classes, drills, even mat chats with them. So those have to be that. The parents that have their kids that are 7 and up, they can train with their kids. And quite honestly, we'll have a kid maybe start at age 5, go through our 5 and 6-year-old program. By the time that they're 7, then the parent goes, okay, now I'll train with them.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So in which this probably could be a huge answer at the same time. So you have your 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and then 7 and up, correct?
Mm-hmm.
In each of those age groups, where do you start? So because in my thought, I'm thinking of my brother whenever he was 3 years old and he was tripping and falling downstairs. And so I'm wondering, how would he do martial arts? So maybe for someone who's listening who may be interested in this kind of thing, where do you start? Like, what is square one with these students?
Well, 3 and 4-year-olds, it's really all about focus, respect, structure, and then from a physical standpoint, it's just learning how to, be coordinated in your body, being able to stand on 1 foot and then hop on, 1 foot, being able to hop on 2 feet apart, keeping your legs apart at that age is easy, but having them be able to do hopping on 2 feet with their feet together and then even going forward or backwards, that's difficult at that age.
Oh, okay.
Let's just take 3 and 4-year-olds with arm circles. Doing arm circles backwards generally is easy at that age. It takes a lot of coordination for them to be able to do it forward. So we work on a lot of coordination, hand-eye coordination, body coordination, core strength, especially at that age. We do a lot of, I shouldn't say we do a lot of, but quite often we will do push-up planks. That they have to hold their body in a push-up plank because in order to do a push-up, their abs need to have the proper strength in order to do a proper push-up.
Right.
So there's just a lot of skills that we work on at our 3 and 4-year-old level. And then, of course, 5 and 6, we're going to up those skills a little bit more because their ability at that age is, I don't want to say better, but it should be higher at that age. So it's not really about the martial arts at those ages, although we do teach them kicks and punches and blocks and those type of things. It's not as intricate.
So are you the person teaching all these classes, or do you have other instructors to teach with you?
I used to teach every class.
Cool.
And so our program has basically 3 different levels in the program, if you will. We have our basic program, and then we have our leadership, black belt leadership program. From there, we also have what we call our STORM team. That's the special team of role models. That's what STORM stands for, special team of role models.
Oh, that's cool.
And so the reason I bring that up is, yes, every single instructor that we have on the floor has started out as a basic student, moved to the black belt leadership program, and then moved into the STORM team. And then from those STORM team members, because the STORM team members are the ones that we actually teach them how to teach.
Oh, I gotcha.
And so those are the ones that I pull my paid instructors from. So if you can think of, let's just say 100 students, right? And out of those 100, 80 of them get into leadership.
Yeah.
And out of those 80, let's say 20 get into STORM. And out of those STORM team members, now I pull 2 to be a paid instructor. Yeah. And we get compliments all the time on our instructors, and they go, "Wait, how in the world do you have a 15, 16-year-old that can handle and the students, the parents, and do all that?" Well, there's that structure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, it has to be taught. Some of it is caught.
Right.
But it has to be taught. So to answer your question, because we have 2 locations. So in Bradley, Mr. Bean, Professor Bean, he's been with me, he started with me when he was 11.
Wow.
And next month, in September, he'll be 37. So he runs our Bradley program. Last year in June, we opened up a storefront in New Lenox, and we're getting that one launched.
That's cool.
And I call him a kid. He's an adult, but the kid, Master POTUS, he started with me when he was 3. He just turned 20 this year. Nice. And he said, I want to do this for a living. I want to do what, Professor Bean does. And I said, well, then we just need to find another location.
Yeah.
And so he will eventually be running that program.
Wow.
I'm mainly in New Lenox right now, running that program to help build that.
Gotcha.
And then, of course, then we have to build the staff, the same thing that we did down here, because every single staff member has been a white belt with me at some point. I don't hire from, outside.
Gotcha.
I want to build our instructors from, internally.
That's great. And how important is that to you to have to keep everybody inside in that, what's the right term for it, in that group of people?
Oh my gosh, it's invaluable. I'll have other business owners that I know say to me how jealous they are. Because if you think of it, I'll have a kid, let's just say it starts with me, or 5 or 6 years of age. By the time they get their black belt, let's say they're 10. And then by the time they get their second degree, they're 13 or 14. And they can get a work permit at age 14. That's when I hired Mr. Bean.
Really?
He got a work permit at age 14.
Nice. And
he was a part-time instructor for me. If you think of it, if you've been with me at age 5 and now you're 14, you're 9 years with me.
Yeah, that's true.
Or with us. It's not just me anymore, but you're 9 years with us. There's a lot that can happen in that 9 years that can be then transferred to another student. So it's invaluable. Like I said, I'll have other entrepreneurs look at me and go, man, I wish I could raise up my own staff.
Yeah,
because they understand the philosophy, they understand the structure. It's kind of like, if you think of it, the military has to do a boot camp to get everybody in line to go, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, follow these. And I don't have to be like a boot camp.
Right.
I can do that slowly.
Over a long period of time.
Absolutely. Right. And then the depth of love and respect that we have and our students have for us because of that relationship over time, I think that makes a huge difference.
I agree. Which this is nothing like martial arts. I was a camp counselor for about 4 or 5 years, and something that I saw with campers who kept coming back was maybe their first year, they were, in a sense, undisciplined. They were the kids who were throwing rocks or jumping off the top bunk. But as they stay in and then they learn the culture, which I think is, in my opinion, one of the most important things in any program, whether it's whether it's martial arts. I raced motocross for a long time. The culture of that you instill with your group of people, I think, also is what makes then having your students come who were, you got them when they were white belts and now they are black belts. They not only know your style, the style that you would prefer them to approach it in, or maybe the way that you would handle a situation, but they know your culture and more of, why do you do it? Rather than, hey, I can do it. Well, I do it because I love it and because I was taught this way to do it the best way possible. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why we have really good instructors.
Yeah.
Is that framework that we've created, the opportunities that we've given them.
Right.
And then, of course, prior to being hired, you think about an interview that you go in for a job. Let's just say the interview is a half an hour. You as the person that's interviewing them, you have to, based upon the information that they gave you, and whatever history you can dig up, and then the interaction that you have with them, then you have to make an educated decision. Well, I've had them for 5, 6, 7, 9 years, depending.
Yeah, you know them.
And absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. I've seen their character under pressure. I've seen... so it makes it so much different to be able to raise your own staff. And and you think about it, I can't do math that quickly. I'd have to get my phone out or a piece of paper. But again, Professor Bean was with me when he was 11. He'll be 37 this year. Yeah. You've got Master POTUS. He started with me when he was 3. His mom actually called me when he was 2. I said, yeah, don't take him at 2.
A little bit too young, yeah.
But at age 3, and now he's 20.
Yeah.
So his is easy. He's been with me 17 years. I can figure that one out really
Right,
quick.
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying?
You've literally watched him grow up.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I guess I shouldn't hesitate saying this. I'm a second dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or a second parent to him.
Yeah, and I think that role, like football has a coach. What would someone call you? Would it be sensei? Would it be master? What would it be?
Yeah, there's titles. Yeah, I mean, my title right now, just because of the rank that I am, is senior professor Brumitt. But
Gotcha.
I tell everybody just call me Mr. Brumitt.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
And the reason I do that is because sometimes I think labels. I don't want the parents to think that he's. Because at one point it was Master Brumitt, right?
Gotcha.
And then it was Senior Master Brumitt, and then it was Associate Professor Brumitt, and then it was Professor Brumitt.
Right.
But I use the titles with my instructors.
Okay.
So like you heard me say Master POTUS. Well,
yes.
he's a master
right.
in our system, and he deserves that. But I don't want, just because I'm the owner, I don't want people to.
Right, and assume you are trying to be more high and mighty or something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and,
I get that.
And I have had parents go, you want us to call you by your title? No, it's just say Mr. Brumitt.
I appreciate titles for other people because I like to be respectful in that way of whether it's, sir, ma'am, like that kind of thing. But yeah, I've always been so nervous to approach that because one of my goals eventually is to be a teacher. I've loved working with kids my whole life, whether it was summer camp or overnight camp or the teaching I did through field experience, through ONU, or student teaching. There is just something about being able to work with kids who are, who want to learn, who are motivated to come in and be like, I want to learn, whether it's martial arts or math. These kids who come in and are excited to do that. How does that fuel you?
Oh, gosh. I mean, that's the only reason I do this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love working with the kids. Here's what I tell the parents. I go, martial arts, the physical martial arts moves is just the icing on the cake. The cake, to me, are all of the character development skills that we can instill in your child. So, again, going back to what I said, mentally, emotionally, socially, being able to protect yourself. Then you have the icing on the cake, which is the actual martial arts skills.
Yeah.
To me, the sweet spot, really. And this is shown anyhow in the data, is if you take a 2-year, so from ages 2 to 7, that's when the identity is really shaped in that child, and it can be shaped however their environment is, pushing it. And if you tell a 5-year-old that XYZ is true, the 5-year-old believes you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the neat thing about that is, so every single month we have a what we call word of the month. Like this month just happens to be focus.
Cool.
Well, and it's appropriate because we want the kids to get focused this month because school is starting in August.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yes.
Oh man, it's coming up quick.
So, and not only do we have a word of the month and because of the word of the month, we also have a mat chat, age-appropriate mat chats. So 3 and 4-year-olds have their different mat chat compared to the 5 and 6. And then even 7 and up, we have different mat chats because I have a beginner's class in my 7 and up. I have an intermediate, advanced, and then black belt.
Gotcha.
And so all of their mat chats are different because, of course, as you move through the ranks, your ages become older.
What is a mat chat before we move on?
So it's I would call it let's just say it's a little sit down, introducing the word of the month, and then talking about it and why that word is important.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
And then how they can utilize that word not only in the studio, but at home and at school. So it's, and the parents that actually, utilize what we're doing see great results.
I'm sure, yeah.
So not only do we have a word of the month, because, let me back up. Not only do we have a word of the month, but we also, with those words of the month, we have what we call an I am statement. And then hand movements that go along with the I am statement, which help to anchor those statements.
Right.
And so our hope is that, especially at those ages, of course we don't start them until 3, but again, 2 to 7, kids believe what they're told.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's just take focus. They take their fingers, they put them next to their eyes, not in their eyes because then they couldn't see, right? But they put them next to their eyes and they say, I am focused. And then they point forward and they say, on what matters most. And then they bow into class. And then, of course, we say that in the class. At the beginning of class, we say it at the end of class. We have a mat chat. In order to bow out, we say, I am focused on what matters most. What we've seen, especially in our 4, 5, 6-year-olds, has been really neat. Because, and again, not that the 7 and up don't have the same results. But of course, it's a little bit harder at that time because, or at that age, because we all have cognitive bias. We're all trying to find, like if you were called stupid when you were a kid, especially during those years, you're gonna, every time something comes up that you don't fulfill or you're not doing right, what is that conversation that you have in your head? It's reinforced. You go, yeah, of course I can't do that because I'm stupid. Well, what we want is we want to take a positive spin on that. You know, I am focused on what matters most. Last month, what was it? July, independence. So we had that was our word of the month was independence. And so the I am statement, I'm trying to remember what the I am statement exactly was, but I am responsible and independent.
Oh, that's nice.
The month prior, what was it? June was courage, and the hand movement with courage, and it says I am courageous even when I'm afraid. Well, and let me talk about that one real quick. So I had a parent come up to me. Again, there's hand movements that go with it. And I'm trying to remember the hand movements now. I don't remember the hand movements now, but because they're only for a month. But anyways,
no, move on the next one. I get it.
But so this, what is he? 5 years old. This 5-year-old kid in New Lenox. His mom said, "I just want to tell you what the word of the month has done for my kid." And I'm like, "Yeah, tell me." And she goes, "We were at a pool party, and the kids are in the pool, and he can swim, but it was the deep end, and he was afraid to jump in. So he's standing on the edge of the pool. She goes, I see him do the hand movements. She goes, I can't hear him, but I see his mouth moving, and he's doing the hand movement, saying, I am courageous, even when I'm afraid. And then he jumped in.
That's great. That's exactly what I love to hear. Because it's working.
But see, that had nothing to do with the martial arts moves, like the physical moves, but yet it had everything to do with it.
Well, like you said, the mental aspect as well. You're not just working about the physical aspect. It's about the mental as well.
The month before was respect, and it was I respect myself and others. Right? Well, what was April? April was Easter. So I had a mom over Easter weekend message me and say, hey, I just want to tell you about what happened with Bryson. And I go, yeah, tell me. She goes, we left the studio on Thursday, the day before Good Friday and then Easter, and of course we had our mat chat. We do the hand movement when they walk off the floor with the saying, and she goes. He gets in the car and he says, "You know, Mom," he goes, "I respect myself and the other kids, and I'm not going to stay up late and try to catch the Easter bunny because I want the other kids to get presents too."
That's so nice.
I mean, think about that, what that does for him in that belief. I respect myself and others. I'm courageous even when I'm afraid. You know, I am responsible and independent. Like, it's just amazing what we can do in the martial arts, the influence that we can have when we know how to do it. And we can tie it in and we can anchor it into these I am statements, into our word of the month, and then obviously into the martial arts moves.
And I think the importance of speaking it, as well as with the hand motions, that's one thing that I've learned. When you tie a hand motion to whatever you are saying
it's an anchor.
Time, it is, and it works wonders. And obviously in martial arts, I'm sure it's great to have that anchor as well, because, man, I can't imagine, again, with my experience with kids as a camp counselor, I can't imagine getting them all to sit and listen and, and do these motions. And I think that that's something that I, as someone who knows nothing about martial arts really, what I know as an outsider is that those kids are disciplined, and they're disciplined in a good way. They are I have never met someone who does martial arts who's not respectful, kind, and is working towards a better version of themselves at the same time. I think that's all. I think it's a cool thing to see.
Well, there are bad apples in every bunch,
right?
But,
absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah. I would say for the most part, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, we have field trips, martial arts character development field trips that we do. I go into daycares, I do different things, and here's the funny thing is, I will have teachers, especially, or daycare workers as well, say, how do you get those kids to look at you, to listen to you, to sit well, to stand well, or to respond well?
Yeah.
And I'll tell the teachers, or even whoever it is, I'll just say, well, I feed them what I expect back. And I'll say to them, all right, everybody stand up. Yes, sir? Mm-hmm. And then what do they give me? Yes, sir. All right, everybody have a seat. Yes, sir? And then what do they give me? Yes, sir.
Right.
And I go, teachers, if you want this in your class, or even the daycare providers, like if you want them to do that, then you have to feed them what you expect back.
Yeah. And
I go, then, and this is obviously something that we teach our storm team members first, but then, our instructors still follow through with, is that, whatever you expect, they will start to live up to.
Yeah.
And back to your point with regards to the culture, if everybody in the culture is doing it, then you don't want to feel left out. You're going to start doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we have leverage.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
And I also tell parents, because sometimes parents are like, man, they listen to you better than they listen to me. I said, well, you're dealing with the law of familiarity.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They're familiar with you. Mm-hmm. And so just understand that they're going to let their hair down at home.
Right.
And be a little more wild with you or whatever it is compared to what they're going to. Yeah. I go, but really smart parents will utilize the sayings, the framework, the things that we're doing at home.
Yeah.
And so let's just take focus, because that's the month that we're working in.
Right.
If you see your child and they do the smallest thing and it was focused, reinforce that.
Yeah.
The problem is really good parents are always looking out at their kid and getting on them when they do something wrong. And we should.
Yeah.
But phenomenal parents not only correct what needs to be corrected, but they also, especially in the younger years, they see what the kid is doing correct and then praising that. So I always tell the parents, hey, look, especially ones that come in on a trial, I'll say, you're going to see me award approximate success. All I need your kid to do today is to be focused on what we're doing, try really hard, and have a smile.
Yep.
That's it. And you as a parent, you're going to see your kid look over at you a lot. And then you're going to do one of these things. You're going to, take your two fingers and point them at your eyes, like focus, and then point back at the kid. Don't do that.
Right.
Because the reason your kid is looking back at you is not because they're not focused. They want you to see how good that they're doing.
Right.
And so when they turn and look back at you, smile and put your thumb up like that, or applaud.
Right.
Eventually, over time, they're not going to look back at you because they don't need that from you.
Right.
But right now they do. And so I have to let the parents know what's happening, because what they see is their kid is not focused.
Right.
But that is not what it is. They want to see how, if their parent is going to be proud of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%. I agree. Reinforcing that positivity at the end of the day. I'm gathering 100%. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And so, I really love the 5-year-old. Not that I don't love the 3 and 4-year-olds, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, the 5, 6, I would say pre-kindergarten, the year before you go to kindergarten, all the way up to second, even third graders, that's our sweet spot.
Yeah.
For me, anyways, as a teacher. Now, my other instructors, are different. Yeah. Meaning that, what they're good at, I'm not as good at, or what I'm good at, they're not as we complement each other.
And that's the beauty of it, is that you expect, especially when you've trained these kids, so to say, since they were white belts. I mean, you definitely know, okay, we know that this is their strength versus this person's strength, and as well as yours.
Well, and that took me a while to understand or to be comfortable with, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to create other little Mr. Brummitts.
Right. Yeah.
And when you weren't doing, saying everything I was saying, or you weren't as energetic or outgoing, or when I get on the floor, man, I'm very energetic. You know what I'm saying? But not everyone is like me.
Yeah, 100%.
And I had to learn that I had to be okay with that, and that it was important that that some students aren't going to resonate with me.
Yeah.
They may resonate with a different instructor. And that was tough in the beginning to my ego.
I'm sure.
Does that make sense? I had to go, well, and then what I had to start telling myself is, well, if they can teach 80% the way that I teach, then I'm still doing good, know? Right. And that was still my ego talking.
Right. Yeah.
Even I had a learning curve.
Yeah. And I think, and again, not that this is very as professional as your work, but with camp counseling, I struggle with, I had campers who they'd want to be around me all the time. They'd make me their friendship bracelets, and they're not in my cabin, but then I have the kids in my cabin. They want nothing to do with me, but they want something to do with our next door neighbor, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? But no, it was that humbling of myself to be like, hey, maybe I'm not filling that child's cup as much as they are getting filled by this other person, and who am I to step in the way of that? Yes, it hurts my ego, but I have to get over it because it's not about me at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Duane, this has been a blast. Anything else you want to cover before we head out?
I can't think of anything unless you have any other questions.
I don't think so. Do you want to do a quick plug to the camera about TriStar and what you guys do?
Sure. Well, I mean, obviously we offer free trials. So our standing offer, at least for right now, is 2 weeks free. That gives you 4 classes. You can come in, try it out. No obligation to join. It's 100% free. Of course, you just go to TriStarKarate.com in order to access that, whether it was in the New Lenox location or the Bradley location, either one. So it's TriStarKarate.com, and you can find us on the internet.
Awesome. Great. Thanks so much, Duane. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Great.